down in LA Live today at the JW Marriott at the little bar in the hotel. Spent $30 on a burger that they claimed was Wagyu beef. Still waiting for Wagyu beef to be worth it. Where do I eat Wagyu beef?
You should
where
check
I
the
tasted
spelling.
good.
You should have checked the spelling. It was
yeah,
probably
okay.
like they left the Y out or something.
W-A-G-O-O.
Yeah,
right.
Wagyu.
I see. Yeah. You're probably right.
This week on Movies, baby, we're placing our bets on what the best movies of 2024 will be. Plus, we've got reviews of Roadhouse, Immaculate, Late Night with the Devil, and more. Joe, are you ready?
You know it, Brett.
Then Margot, roll that theme song. Oh. This was in Deuce Bigelow.
Yes, it was. I know.
I can't get enough movies, baby. I can't get enough movies, baby. How about you? Do you have it bad too? Whenever one ends, it's like the death of a friend. I get to wishing that there were two more reels. Then a voice cries out, "Move, baby, you're in my seat, and you don't want to mess with the Philly movie freak."
I can't get enough movies, baby. I can't get enough movies, baby. How about you? Oh, I've got it bad too.
Got it bad.
'Cause every night of the year, like the moon, I appear at every movie theater all over town. Roll credits, black and white. Roll, baby. You don't want to talk to me, talk to my guy, the Georgia Bulldog movie freak.
That's me. I can't get enough movies, baby.
I can't get enough movies, baby.
I can't get enough movies, baby.
I can't get enough movies, baby. Yeah, welcome to Movies, Baby, the show where we prophesy the future of Hollywood. I didn't bring my copy. My name is Joe Cilio. I'm here with my partner, as always, Brett Boehm. Brett prepared all week for the show. Forgot about the theme song until right then and there, brother.
That's
right
all
then
right.
and there.
I'm also known as the Georgia Movie Dog.
Georgia Movie Dog.
Go Dogs! NIT semifinals, baby. Joe?
Yes, sir.
We've said it once on this show. We've said it a million times. The movies are back.
Yep.
And if you thought 2023 was jam-packed with pure cinema, just wait until you see what 2024 has in store. There are so many interesting movies scheduled to come out this year, and so you thought, I don't want to steal, this was your idea, and it's a great idea.
Well, appreciate.
The best way to talk about, instead of just talking about all the coming attractions in 2024, all the great movies lined up, some of which probably will be great, some of which will be stinkers, that's how it goes, that's why we love the movies. You thought, why don't we do a 2024 movie draft where we each try to pick our ultimate team of 2024 movies. Can't pick the same movie twice. We'll go back and forth, fantasy draft style. And then throughout the year, what we're going to do is we'll watch the movies when they come out. We'll review them on Letterboxd, probably also on this show. And then whoever has the most Letterboxd stars at the end of the year wins the movie draft.
That's
the movie
right.
fantasy draft.
And
right?
we'll be honest.
Well, that's our brand.
So if one of our picks is a stinker, we'll give it a 1 or a 2, and
we have to be honest.
We'll just live with that.
We have to be honest. And if one of Joe's picks is the best movie I've ever seen, I'll give it 5 stars because I'm being honest.
I appreciate that. That's our brand. And here we are, folks, at the 2024 first ever Movies Baby Movies draft. And I am so deeply hyped up. Brett, I knew there were some good movies coming out, but when I really started doing the research for the episode, I realized this year is a bloodbath. Folks, we're going to be at the movies every freaking week until Christmas, and I really had trouble with my first pick. This is like one of those drafts. Do you go with Ben Simmons, or do you go with whoever
Ben Simmons currently?
No. But back in the day, back in the day, it was like
this guy.
Ben Simmons or someone good at second, or
Sure,
we're going to go with Markelle Fultz, or are we going to go with Jason Tatum? or whatever happened. But
So you only,
I'm in control now, which
and
is
we have no
exciting.
restrictions though. Unlike a fantasy draft, there's no restrictions on like you have to have one horror movie or this and that. You can just pick any grouping of 5 movies. And I guess strategically, I mean, we have to be honest, but of course, taste is subjective. So I'm also going to try to pick movies I think you and I will specifically will like, because that's going to help your score.
Great point. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, I like the way you're thinking. I got to play the game. I mean, should we get the movie draft started, Brett?
Let's go. Joe, we did before the show. We decided that you get the first pick.
I appreciate that.
'Cause you came up with the idea.
I'm excited.
So what do you got, Joe? What's your first pick?
With the first pick in the 2024 movie draft, Joe Cilio is going with Civil War.
Okay.
Civil War.
Okay. Alex Garland's Civil War.
Alex Garland's Civil War, my number 1 pick of the year. What's the movie I'm hanging my hopes on the most? Garland. Back in the saddle, and this time with a real scary one, Civil War. Folks, Kirsten Dunst is in this film, so already it's probably going to be pretty good. Alex Garland, he hasn't made a lot of movies, but the ones that he makes are worth watching. I love Ex Machina. I like Annihilation. Brett loves Annihilation. And everybody in the country is chattering about this movie, Civil War. Is it going to cause a civil war? Texas and California team up to fight the rest of the country. Let's go. I cannot wait. Plemons wearing those little glasses. It's already going to be the
those
number
little
1.
red glasses.
It's already going to be the Halloween costume of the year.
I love evil redneck Plemons too. That's the Plemons we deserve, is evil redneck Plemons.
Looks so good.
Now, what you did leave out a movie in Alex Garland's filmography, and it was the last movie that he came out with.
Yeah.
Men.
Thank you. You know, you called me on it, and I'll just say it now. But I consider this a treat for Joe. I have not seen Men yet. There you go. It's as simple as that.
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
If I didn't hate Men as much as a lot of people. It's a deeply weird movie, which is always going to win some points with me.
Right.
But it was just sort of a mess, and ultimately sort of amounted to nothing. Just like if Civil War is good, though, it'll be a bounce back movie. So so your prediction is Garland is bouncing back in Civil War.
When I sit in the theater and like an IMAX screen and see the IMAX trailer for Civil War and hear the sounds, and everyone in the theater is a little uneasy and it's very uncomfortable and very kind of scary. Oh, I just know this is like a movie I'm going to be there opening night with bells on, folks. My number 1 pick, proudly, Garland Civil War.
All right. I like the pick. Obviously, Garland rules.
Thank you.
Annihilation, one of my favorite movies of the last 20 years. And I think that's a strong pick. We'll see and we'll know very soon.
We'll know so soon, folks.
We'll know
That movie comes
soon.
out April 12th. Get your tickets now. It's in a couple weeks. It's like the summer's already here. Like there's a couple other great movies this like summer, big blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
But I am so hyped for Civil War, Brett. Hyped.
Well, then, in that case, because I was not sure what my number 1... And did you know, right? How long have you known that was your number 1 pick?
It's been, like, if it wasn't that... It's been my number 1 pick before I thought of the idea. It's just, I'm so excited.
What I'm going to do then, because I was going back and forth on my number 1, but I also want to get some immediate gratification here. I don't want a movie that's coming out 6 months from now.
Okay.
I want my number 1 to be a movie that's about to come out, so we'll know where we stand.
Okay.
Pretty quickly.
You're a competitive
here.
guy.
My number 1 pick, baby, it's got to be Monkey Man.
Oh!
It's got to be Monkey Man.
April, is that in April too?
That's coming out in like 2 weeks. I think.
My Lord!
I think maybe.
We'll know right
maybe
away.
Same weekend as
Who's
Civil
up?
War. We'll have to see. Dev Patel's directorial debut, produced by Jordan Peele. From the trailer and the description, it looks like he's giving us John Wick meets Fight Club in India. I freaking love what I'm seeing from the Monkey Man trailer. I love what I'm seeing from the marketing. Dev Patel is on a streak. He's in it to win it, baby. Green Knight, one of the most underrated movies of the last couple years. Speaking of, the director David Lowery also has another movie on this list that might come up, maybe. But I am loving everything I'm seeing from Monkey Man. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, check it out and get in line, baby, as soon as tickets are available for Monkey Man.
We'll be watching Monkey Man in the blink of an eye. Like before we know it, we'll be watching Monkey Man on this podcast, and I am obviously excited for that. Wouldn't be my number 1, but no shade to Dev, who's a handsome gentleman, and the trailer slaps, and I trust Jordan Peele with my life. Just wouldn't be my number 1. My number 1 would be Civil War.
Quick update on my mental state. I wrote Monkey April.
Yeah,
Just
that's not
change
gonna get. That's not gonna get any
Does that disqualify
stars.
me? All right.
Well,
Monkey Man.
I was really nervous with your preamble that you were gonna take my number 2 picture off the board.
Oh no! I should have done it number 1 because I think I know what it is. Oh, you're about to break
it's the
my heart.
steal of the draft.
Fuck.
Everybody gonna be seeing it. Everybody,
Oh, fuck.
everybody gonna be
I
taking
should've done number
adrenaline
1.
pills and gonna go check out my number 2 pick,
Don't say it.
Furiosa, a Mad Max. That wasn't it.
That's not what I thought. That's not what I thought.
What did you think it was?
Well, I'm about to tell you with my number 2.
Well, okay, hold on. But aren't you a little mad that you didn't get Furiosa on the board?
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I thought we'll see until this trailer dropped.
Sure.
When the trailer, the trailer reminded me, oh wait, hold on, stop.
He cuts a good trailer.
Mad Max. Sorry, so mad. Mad Max Fury Road. I mean, guys, that is a movie. That is an action film. That is a ride. That is a movie. That is cool ass filmmaking. All the stories about them in the desert, and George is crazy, and he's got all these guys doing all this crazy stuff for real. Crazy movie, brilliant movie, unbelievable. The follow-up's Furiosa. Oh, it's a sequel or a prequel. Oh, it's not the same cast. Hemsworth, Anya Taylor-Joy. Is that really giving me Charlize and Tom Hardy?
No.
Yes, it wasn't. No, now, first of all, bite your tongue. Second of all,
No, it's not.
but it might because when that trailer came out,
Yeah.
I just said oh wait, I loved this world. I love this. I love Fury Road. I love Anya Taylor-Joy. Why am I pretending like I don't like her? I like her very much. And Hemsworth, maybe the only thing that makes me smile in any Marvel movie. He has charm and he looks fun and crazy. I'm pretty sure we're all gonna be liking Furiosa,
Right.
The Godfather Part 2 of the Mad Max.
Here's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Hemsworth needs to be like just let loose.
Yeah.
If Hemsworth is let loose,
Crazy performance.
Yeah, crazy.
Army Hammer.
No
in
restrictions.
The Boots
No-
Riley movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Good
Minus
point.
the
All right. Yeah. If the question is, does Hemsworth have it? Army Hammer had it because Army Hammer was
had it.
crazy.
He was great in that.
But does Hemsworth have the juice to go
I think he does.
full bore? We'll see.
I think I love it.
My question for you is,
Yeah.
very talented actor,
Yeah.
incredible looking person. Since The Witch, has Anya Taylor-Joy ever knocked you on your ass? with a
Queen's Gambit.
performance? So that did. So that would be. So she did knock you on your ass in Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
really good in Queen's Gambit,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
She's very good in
Okay.
Queen's Gambit.
Now that's a TV show. You famously hate TV.
I do not hate TV. TV just fell off. It's not my fault. We did live during a time when TV was not falling off at all, when TV was absolutely incredible. And Queen's Gambit was on the wildly tail end of that, maybe even in the part where it started to stink. But I'm talking about Anya. She brought it. The scene where she smokes all the cigarettes and drinks and does chess. Love it. And I'm going to... And thinking about all of her contemporaries, who's going to replace Charlize as Fury, I think she's going to be badass. I think she's going to look cool as fuck. And I love when she speaks Spanish. She's Argentinian. It's very cool or whatever. Love it.
All
Love
right.
it. Love Furiosa.
All right.
Very excited.
Furiosa.
Who's not excited? I challenge you.
Furiosa.
I am aghast and agag, and I need to know what your number 2 pick in the draft is. I thought you for sure, because Furiosa's May 24th. We'll be watching that before we know it too.
So this is. I'm gonna switch gears and do a late year picture,
Okay.
which is a little bit of a risk. Because if the movie doesn't come out in 2024 and gets delayed for some reason, that's a lost pick. That's like you draft Embiid and then he's on the injured list for 3 months.
Like
so
that.
that's just the risk you take.
Coming back,
But
this weekend,
I have a
baby.
real good feeling about this one. There's no way this movie doesn't come out on time. It's probably already in the can, ready to go. I like I said on our Oscar special, I think one of the most underrated movies of last year was Ridley Scott's Napoleon. I thought it was the trailer was just giving historical epic, blah, 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 big, lavish historical epic. The movie was funny. It was weird. The performances were bizarre. I've never seen a historical epic with that scope allow itself to get so weird in the little moments of the movie. It cracked me up. It was so bizarre. Ridley Scott hates Napoleon. It was so funny. And Ridley Scott's career can be a little up and down. You know, he knocks one out of the park, and then he you know, kind of like, you know, takes a mini vacation.
We
for
all
the next
agree.
one. However,
wow,
I am predicting 2 in a row for Ridley Scott because I am taking Gladiator 2, Gladiator 2, baby. As the long-awaited Gladiator 2.
You don't think you could get that at 3? You got to grab it at 2.
I thought that's where you were going with your second pick. Look, I love a long gap between sequel and original. I think that could be really funny and yield some interesting results.
I cannot.
But
wait.
here is what sold me, because I was like, yeah, but then Ridley Scott kind of goes up and down, you know. And I love Napoleon, so maybe he's going to sort of phone in Gladiator 2. Maybe it's just for the paycheck. But there was one name I saw in the cast. Because, look, Paul Mescal, great, blah, blah. A lot of great people in the cast. But the name where I said, oh, baby, give me Gladiator 2 for the win. Fucking Denzel is in this movie.
What?
Dude, Denzel is the second lead in Gladiator 2, and the character sounds incredible.
What? I believe you, but like just double checking. Is that true?
Denzel is in Gladiator 2, baby.
What?
As soon as I saw that, coming off of Equalizer, he is rearing to go with a big prestige pick, baby. He said, look, and you know I love Equalizer, got my Franchise Achievement Award for 2023, but you also know Denzel, he was mostly doing those movies for the money, and now he wants a fucking prestige pick he can really lean into. We might be talking about Denzel come Oscar time, Best Supporting Actor for Gladiator 2.
But not for the piano lesson, for Gladiator 2.
For Gladiator 2. Look. Piano lesson was one for me, one for my family. That was. We'll see what happens with piano lesson.
Piano lesson's gonna be great.
It'll be great, but I think Denzel is.
Did you like Fences?
He's doing. I did. Of course, I loved Fences. That was great. I mean, Denzel never misses. I just feel like.
Gladiator 2 is where he's gonna.
Piano lesson is a little. He's it's because his son is directing it, right?
His brother.
His brother's directing it, but his son's
Malcolm.
in it. His son's in it. Okay, great. So look, that's a family picture. Denzel's making sure everyone's getting their shot, and I love that.
Me too.
But to me, Gladiator 2, he got it. I can just tell from the description, it's a fun character that he is going to dig into hard. It feels like another Training Day performance coming up in Gladiator 2, and we might be talking about him come Oscar time.
Does he like fight Mezcal in the ring? Do you think
the character has? It's one of those things where the log line of the character makes it seem like he's on the good guy's side, but it's a character that could turn, I think. So I think there's going to be something interesting going on with his character, and I cannot wait to see what happens. So give me Gladiator 2, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed it comes out on time. What do you got for number 3, Joe? Now you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do.
Well, now it's like, how much faith do I put in my guys and my gals? But you know what? I'm all in this draft, and I'm going with God. And if I don't have this on my board, I just wouldn't like my board, because 2024, honestly, at the end of the day, is really about one picture.
That you haven't picked yet?
No, it's really, honestly, this whole entire year, everything about it is just going to boil down. Everything's going to be just what do you call it? Like, what's the little tiny words in the bottom of the book?
Footnotes.
This is. Everything. It's not a live show, is it? All these other movies, footnotes, folks. And this whole entire year will always be about Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. My number 3 pick, and I'm so psyched I got it at 3. Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might be saying, Joe, do you want to lose to Brett? Francis Ford Coppola hasn't made a good movie in 30 years, to which I'd say he made some okay ones, folks. But Megalopolis, this is the whole thing. He put $120 million of everything, of the wine.
He put
fortune.
all the wine money on
every
this.
cent of the wine money.
He took all that wine money and he
all
put it on.
Sophia's trust fund, and he put it on Megalopolis.
He doesn't have a trust fund anymore.
Yeah, whatever. They screened this movie.
I don't know how money works.
They screened this movie today in LA, and I'm sure it was a home crowd. And this doesn't mean a lot, but it means a lot to me. Standing ovation. Brett.
Really?
Standing ovation. We're going to start hearing dribs and drabs. So what is this movie about?
That feels like a can standing ovation.
Well,
to me.
I know, but also I'm just getting hyped for the movie. Look, this one, folks, he rented a.
Sell me on Megalopolis. Sell me on Megalopolis.
Here's the description. First of all, this has been long gestating Francis Ford Coppola masterpiece that he's putting all of his own personal money into.
It's his eyes
to
wide
do it
shut.
his way, and he's going to do it 150%. Here's what we got. Set in New York, this epic science fiction drama follows Julia Cicero, torn between her loyalty to her classical-minded father Frank and her progressive architect lover Caesar. As Caesar envisions rebuilding New York into a utopia after a catastrophic event, Julia finds herself caught in a struggle between past and future. Yeah, you can definitely see some of that, and there you can see all sorts of things in here. This is going to be a text, folks. We're going to be picking this apart, baby. This is gonna bring Francis Ford back, and he's going to die in peace. I love this pick. Adam Driver's in it. Forrest Whitaker's in it. Hell, Delaware's own Philly fan Aubrey Plaza's in this movie, and hey, so Shia LaBeouf. We love Shia on this podcast. Brett loves Shia LaBeouf very, very much. One of his favorite actors, and 3's number Megalopolis.
I think Megalopolis has push to February written all over it. That to me feels like it's going to be a wasted pick. I think it's literally scheduled right now for December release, which means you are skating on thin ice.
No, I'm going to fly to Cannes to watch it if that's the case, just so I can give it a review.
No.
It's
U.S. theatrical release.
It's coming out this year. No, U.S. theatrical?
Yes, it can't come out at a festival. It has to be a theatrical release in this calendar year.
I'm proud of 3.
They're pushing that to February.
I'm proud. Brett, that has pushed to February 2030 written all over it. I love the pick.
All right, good. I love it. It's high risk, high reward. High risk, high reward.
When that's the movie, you come calling me.
All right. I like it. Number 3, I need a horror movie on here, and there's a lot of good ones coming out this year. I though am gonna put my chips on one movie, which they've tried to remake it a couple while back, and it flopped big time. It's a hard movie to remake, but this time around there's a specific set of creatives on board that I think are going to figure out the equation.
Beetlejuice
and I
2?
think this is going to be. It's called Beetlejuice. I think this is going to be. I don't know if it'll be a big hit in the box office. It'll make its money because this crew always makes their money back. But I think this is going to be one that Joe and I really, really love, and we get. It really gets to us. And that movie is Wolfman, directed by Lee Winnell.
What?
And brought to us by Blumhouse, starring Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner. Here's what I think is going on with Blumhouse. Blumhouse, of course, the big horror imprint. That has brought us Saw and Insidious and what else, Joe? Every horror movie, The Black Phone,
Get Out.
and this Get Out. Thank you. They always give us a banger almost every time out of the gate. But here's what I think is going on with Blumhouse, because Lee Winnell, of course, did first Saw and then Insidious. His last movie was the Elizabeth Moss Invisible Man, which was a little bit more of a kind of prestige picture for Blumhouse. It had a little more kind of art house ambitions going on than we normally find. They usually sort of are just focused on some real classic horror thrills and chills with some good characters and a great story. But Invisible Man felt like it kind of had some more auteur aspirations to it. There was some very interesting thematics around kind of Me Too and gaslighting and things like that. And so I think Lee Winnell and Blumhouse here, what's fascinating to me about Wolfman is like not many characters. It seems like it's a very simple kind of almost maybe, kind of a three-hander. I think coming off and those actors too, Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner, just two powerhouse actors that have really been, I think, waiting for like a movie breakout. Of course, Julia Garner broke out in the TV show Ozark, and Christopher Abbott, since Girls, has been doing a lot of fun theater and indie films.
Ouch.
What?
No, I'm sorry.
You think Chris Abbott thinks of himself as more than that, or
he's been doing a lot of fun theater?
A lot of great theater. Okay. I love Christopher Abbott. I think he's a fantastic actor, and I think he's really going to have his big breakout with Lee Winnell's Wolfman. And I think Wolfman's going to be a movie we're talking about. I think they're going to do something interesting with it. I think much like Invisible Man, they're going to find an interesting some sort of thematic parallel that makes it feel very current and very new. I cannot wait for Lee Winnell's Wolfman, and I think it's going to be a big hit.
I love the pick because I love. So Universal horror movies are my thing. This is why this was a high risk, high reward one for you, man. Like I love the Wolfman. I love all those Universal.
So you have high
movies.
standards.
I have high standards, but I love the director. I love Insidious. I really liked Invisible Man. Yep. Nothing compared to the original perfect Invisible Man, obviously, but whatever.
You fools.
But I do like the pick, and I'm so excited for that movie. But yeah, I have high standards. I'm not an Abbott guy.
Not yet. Not yet.
But I like the pick. That's risky. I mean, there's other big tentpole horrors like the Eggers Nosferatu's
Sure,
coming out, and there's
sure,
a bunch of other
sure.
exciting ones too.
Yep.
But that is such a fun pick.
Eggers is due for a big flop.
Okay, so oh yeah, I don't know, but
You heard my argument though. You get what I'm going there with. I'm seeing the trajectory
I like
of
it.
Blumhouse. Blumhouse is eventually going to make a run for an Oscar.
I have a little bit of a I know Blumhouse and Universal have teamed up to do sort of this, modern sort of reboots of their movies, to which I, of course, scream into the sky. Bring back the DU as totally imagined with Tom Cruise and Johnny Depp
You're talking
and
about
Russell
Universal's
Crowe.
Dark Universe.
The Dark Universe. Bring it back. Okay.
All right. What do you got at number 4?
For my number 4 pick, I am going with...
Here we go. This is where it gets interesting.
Look, this movie, when I read the description, I was like, this is going to be a banger. And Brett, we are going to fucking love this movie. I'm going with November 8th. It's coming out. Edward Berger, the guy who directed All Quiet on the Western Front.
No!
The guy who directed the Netflix All Quiet on the Western Front. No.
This is my sleeper.
No, friend. This is my sleeper.
5 stars already. I'll just write it in.
Conclave.
Conclave.
There's no way me and you
Get
don't.
ready for Conclave.
There's no way me and you don't just
Why was
never
that not
stop talking about this movie.
Why was that not my number 1 pick?
Well, you had to go Monkey Man. But look, listen to this, folks.
Read
Rafe
it.
Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, Conclave.
And Isabella Rossellini.
Oh, my God. And Rossellini.
Yep.
In this thriller, Cardinal Lawrence, played by Rafe Fiennes, oversees the selection of a new pope following the sudden death of the previous one. As the Catholic Church's top leaders convene in the Vatican for the secretive process, Lawrence uncovers a conspiracy that threatens to upend the church's very foundation. Come on! Stanley Tucci plays a cardinal? This is going to be incredible. I really liked All Quiet on the Western Front. I hate a Netflix release. I never got to see it in theaters, but the movie was very well made. This guy's going to put a little thriller together. And what's more fun and what's more mysterious and weird than the picking of the Pope, Brett? The picking of the Pope, baby. Got the smoke.
I don't know why I somehow thought you might like overlook that or
No.
something, because it's an unremarkable title and it takes you a second to figure out what's going on. When you're reading about it in the cast.
You think I can't read?
That is
You were kind of banking on I couldn't read.
Joe, you sent us a list of
I
like
can
100
read.
movies, okay?
I can
I was
read.
like, and a lot of them have titles like Wolfman and Gladiator 2.
no, Conclave.
I kind of thought you might have missed Conclave. I was probably gonna take it at 4. But you beat me to it. I'm just going to give Conclave 5 stars already.
Thank
based on
you.
the
All right, I'm
cast
up.
And description.
It's going to be so good, folks.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep. Okay. God damn. Okay.
You need.
I need
one
a
of my movies
real
might not
comeback
come
pick.
out this year. So
there you go.
Yeah. So
I
you
need a
always have
real
that.
comeback pick.
Yeah, you do.
All right, let me talk through some of the ones that I'm going to talk through a couple that I'm thinking about but probably won't.
I like
pick.
that. I like that.
Okay. Joe, what the fuck is Horizons Chapter 1?
Okay. Well, look.
Okay, hold on, real
stop.
quick. Let me. All right, I'm gonna tell you 2 things, and you tell me what you know. It appears to me that Kevin Costner is using all of his Yellowstone cachet that he's developed. He literally has like the biggest non-network television show in the world, Yellowstone.
Yeah, ever, right.
It seems like he's using all of that goodwill to make a Heaven's Gate is what's happening. He's making some massive Western called Horizon Chapter 1.
Okay, well, actually, I'm really glad you brought
Please
it up.
clarify what's
I
going on
wasn't
with
going to
that.
pick. Look, if this was Joe's private draft where your votes didn't count,
You
I would have this
No,
number 1.
I know you would.
This movie, Kevin Costner's directing something called Horizon, an American Saga. The original idea. Now, Kevin Costner has, long-loved Westerns, as we all remember from Dances with Wolves and Hatfields and McCoys and Open Range and Yellowstone or whatever. So he loves that whole, stuff. And you know what? So do I, Kevin. So do I. So Horizon, though, at first he pitched it. It was like 4 movies. Each were 3 hours plus, and they came out a couple months apart.
He's literally doing Heaven's Gate.
It's like
He's
a post.
literally-
It's a post.
He did
Civil War,
read the Cimino
but
book.
now it's going to be 2 movies coming out this year. Part 1, Part 2. Horizon, an American Saga. It's like post Civil War. They're like expanding into the frontier or whatever. Here's a little secret. I'm gonna go to see both with bells on. I won't be picking at number 5 though.
Oh my God, Sharon! Really quick, Sharon in the chat says that Ajax, friend of the show, worked a bit on Horizon 1. We might have to get more.
We'll
need more
get
info.
Ajax in here.
Sharon, we're gonna need more info about that. We might need to talk to Ajax on the show.
I just cannot wait to see Horizon. But yeah, go ahead, Brett.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So Horizon, no, I'm not gonna pick it. Too risky.
It is a big.
I was talking about David Lowery, who last directed The Green Knight, which I thought was a really underrated movie with Dev Patel. I mean, right in my wheelhouse, just like weird, mystical, medieval, sort of like atmospheric movie. Amazing. He has a new one coming out called Mother Mary with Michaela Cole from I May Destroy You or I Will Destroy You.
I don't know, but I love that show.
You know that show.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Amazing.
And Anne Hathaway, and they're like a musician and a fashion designer, and there's some like, but it's like epic. I don't know. Like, again, I don't know enough to pick it because they're being very mysterious about it, which could mean anything. But that's one to keep an eye on. You mentioned Robert Eggers' Nosferatu is still on the board.
Yeah.
The one that I am really thinking about, but I'm so on the fence about, is Jane Schoenbrun's new movie, I Saw the TV Glow. If you don't know Jane Schoenbrun, she directed, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, but she directed last year's We're All Going to the World's Fair, which was this super low-budget indie that was just incredibly creative and aesthetically interesting. It was a horror movie, and she has such a great aesthetic that is up our alley because it's all like internet culture and like early video games, and there's a little bit of gummo in it, and it's like suburban teenage culture, aimless online, and it's a really cool aesthetic. Her new movie, I Saw the TV Glow. I saw a trailer for it. It's gorgeous. It's basically everything she was doing in We're All Going to the World's Fair, but at a bigger level with a bigger budget, which is where I'm kind of on the fence on, because the sophomore picture, you basically do your indie over again, but with a bigger budget. It can go a couple different ways. And as much as I liked We're All Going to the World's Fair, it was very much like an early movie. It kind of was a little uneven to me, as much as I thought it was so interesting, and she has so much potential. They have so much potential. But I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to bet it. Yeah, it's a little too high risk. And it also has some like stunt casting. It has Fred Durst and Phoebe Bridgers, which is, again, I will be at I Saw the TV Glow on night one.
We're seeing all these movies.
It looks amazing, and I'm very fascinated with it. But in terms of this draft, we're trying to pick the ones that Joe and I will like the most, and that one just feels a little high risk, high reward. A little too high risk, high reward.
What's it going to be?
I'm going to take Jeff Nichols' The Bike Riders, baby. No! Give me The Bike Riders. Was that your next one?
It might have been.
Yes.
I really wanted that. How good does that sound, dude?
Nothing looks better than The Bike Riders.
How good does that sound?
Jeff Nichols, who you know from incredible sort of gritty, low-budget indies like Mud and Take Shelter. He has like a Scorsese De Niro thing going with Michael Shannon, which I love. Michael Shannon, of course, is in this along with everybody's favorite actor right now, Austin Butler.
My favorite actor.
Jodie Comer from Killing Eve, Tom Hardy, Norman Reedus. And it is Jeff Nichols is doing like a 60s biker movie. He's doing a biker movie. We miss biker movies. They're the best. It's one of the best genres that doesn't exist anymore. Roger Corman, Marlon Brando, all mushed together. Give it to me, baby. Put it right in my veins.
I read a critic say this is the godfather of biker movies.
There we go.
AKA it's going to be fucking amazing.
There we go.
I love.
Might have just won this draft with one pick.
I wonder if you did. Now, I mean, is this okay? We're going into the fifth and final round. Just for a quick review, folks. Brett has picked his draft so far as Monkey Man, Gladiator 2, the Wolfman remake, and the Bike Riders. We're both going to have to think of some good ones. I have Civil War, Furiosa, Megalopolis, and Conclave. Really exciting picks. I really love what's going on here.
All right.
And I have to stick the landing.
Final pick. All right. Also, I have a rule that I think is fair. A quick rule change. I know we have to speed up here. I think we should each, and we can do this off air. I think we should each pick an alternate in case one of our movies doesn't come out. I think that is a fair rule, because I'm really worried.
I have no choice but to agree with you.
I'm very worried for you that Megalopolis is not coming out, and I don't want that to be the reason why I win.
It probably like legally has to come out, or he'll like get his head chopped off.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. I'm not picking this one. And I don't think you will either, because I don't know if you're going to like it, and also who knows if it's going to be good. But Fede Alvarez, who I like very much, is doing the new Alien movie.
Yeah.
Fede is the man. I really like Don't Breathe, and I really like his Evil Dead reboot. Jane Levy is an amazing actor. She's not in this movie, but do you know who is in his movie is Kaylee Spaney, who played Priscilla, who you all know I love.
Oh yeah.
And he showed
this is all adding up.
He showed a cut to Ridley Scott and James Cameron, and they both loved it. And Ridley said it's effing great. I mean, but that's work. But also, it's probably really, really good. But I'm not picking it. It's too risky.
Okay.
I'm going with someone who's never disappointed me in my entire life, even though it is her first film.
Oh no, I don't.
My last pick, I think it's going to be really good because every play of hers I've ever seen is perfect.
Okay.
Annie Baker's Janet Planet.
Janet Planet.
Annie Baker, one of our greatest living playwrights. I think that's fair to say.
She's worked with Christopher Abbott, I believe.
Yes, I've seen her play John with Christopher Abbott.
Right. That's one of the fun plays I was talking about.
It was fine. But Abbott was fine. John is good. The flick, Circle Mirror Transformation, the plays go on and on. But this is Annie's first movie, and I have to imagine, because she's brilliant, that it will be brilliant. Julianne Nicholson stars in this movie, who's super talented and super beautiful, and I love her work always. And this is probably going to be quiet and arty and I'm saying slow like it's bad, but slow like it's good. And what it's probably going to do is make us cry and make us think. And I think it's going to be a really big movie this year. And Annie Baker's never ever failed me. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. It's going to be good. We're going to love it.
She could be looking at a Martin McDonagh career. Someone who crosses over from plays into movies.
That would be so cool.
Yeah,
she really.
I would love if we got
the whole.
I would love if Annie Baker had a Martin McDonagh second act. That would be amazing.
I would love that. Do you know? Okay. Do you know who her brother-in-law is?
I don't.
Noah Baumbach.
Oh, no, I did know that.
She's married to Baumbach's brother.
That's right.
I didn't know that.
Who's a film critic, right?
I don't know.
All right. That's an incredible team. Joe's got Civil War, Furiosa, Megalopolis, Conclave, and Janet Planet.
It's really good. It's really good.
Number 5, I can't believe this is still on the list. And this is purely because the game is the movies that Joe and I are going to like the most. Joe, there's a new Terrifier this year, and it's Christmas themed. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Give me Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Art the Clown is back, and he's going to be wearing a Santa hat.
Yeah.
I've got Terrifier 3.
And they say Lauren Lavera is going to be back.
Come on now.
I know.
Movies I did not include but thought about.
Yeah. Wow.
I really thought long and hard about the new Crow they're making with the Skarsgård brother that plays Pennywise. But then I saw the first publicity still, and it looks like Jared Leto's Joker. I was like, you did Jared Leto's Joker to the Crow? How dare you? So we'll see if that ends up. Maybe that's one of those ones they're going to kind of go back and reshoot a little bit after the response to the promo photo. There's a movie called Sasquatch Summer that looks amazing, all about Bigfoots dealing with changes to their forest. Neither of us picked Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, which is crazy. That might be one of our alternates.
Because
Challengers.
Challengers I didn't pick.
Challengers.
You know who I didn't pick?
Who?
Ashana Knight Shyamalan's first movie
is
coming out this year.
I saw that.
I'm really excited.
But I know
to
you're
see
rooting
her work.
for it. I know you're rooting for it. We're all rooting for it.
I think it's going to be great. Shyamalan's daughter, who wants to be a filmmaker and now is, her first movie, The Watchers, with Dakota Fanning's coming out. It sounds very scary. She directed some episodes of Servant. I think it's going to be a banger. Her father wouldn't let it be otherwise. She's the Shyamalan descendant. What if she's the Sophia of the Shyamalans? I love M. Night.
All right, real quick.
And I'm very excited for Ashana's movie.
Pick your alternate really quick. Just first movie that comes to mind.
In a Violent Nature. In a Violent
Is
Nature.
that the Shyamalan? What is that?
No, you know what? Fine, I'm going with the Shyamalan. In a Violent Nature is a different, really good-looking Canadian horror movie.
All right,
but I'm going with The Watchers. That's it. I'm going with The Watchers.
That's the Shyamalan
That's
movie?
the Shyamalan. Ashana Knight. I'm all in on you. Let's go.
All right. Nosferatu's tempting, but I'm gonna go with I Saw the TV Glow as my alternate.
Okay.
That Jane Schoenbrun's new movie coming out.
Oh my Lord!
Very excited for that.
Honestly, the thrill of my life.
I am rooting hard for it.
I'm so rooting for the Watchers. I want young Shyamalan to be the next gen Shyamalan. I want that.
All right.
I want that.
The teams are locked in. We can get on my camera.
Really
the
appreciate
the
alternate.
Yeah, that's going to help you a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
When Megalopolis gets
and you when Wolfman
shelved.
gets bonked because it stinks.
No way. Lee doesn't miss, baby. All right.
But
Stay tuned then throughout this year to see how we do. We'll update that list as we watch those movies. And speaking of watching movies, we got a new leader at the box office. Margot, show us the money. Let's see that top 10 box office for this past week. There it is.
Wow.
No surprise, Dune and Kung Fu Panda dropped a spot because the new Ghostbusters took over the top spot. I wanted to say really quickly, too.
Frozen Empire.
Because it looks like, I mean, I'm sure everybody is like sort of happy with the Ghostbusters performance. I mean, the people who made it in the studio that made it. But the thing that's interesting about Ghostbusters is it has the new set of movies have this very specific ceiling that they can't get over. Because this movie did $45 million in its opening weekend. The previous one, Afterlife, did 44, and the Melissa McCarthy one did 46. So Ghostbusters has this weird, like, sort of middle ground. You know, it's not making like the big franchise.
It has
money.
that many fans.
It can't exactly. It has that
$45 million
that amount of
worth
fans.
of fans. Yeah.
But the thing is that Frozen Empire had a bigger budget than Afterlife. Afterlife was $75 million, and then for Frozen Empire, they thought, well, let's kick it up a little bit to $100 million, see if we can get the box office bigger, and you can't, baby. The Ghostbusters reboots have a very specific ceiling of people that are going to go see them.
It's $45 million.
And that's it. And this is not a movie that's going to, it'll probably clear $100 million, but which is exactly the budget. But I think this is going to be the last one. The director said he has more ideas, but I doubt they let him do another one after this.
Yeah.
Neither Joe or I nor I saw it. We were thinking about it, and then we just said, eh.
We know it. This is a movie podcast. It's episode 3, and that's the
I know
big
we're
movie
kind of
this
obligated
week,
to see the big movies, but not this week.
We
folks.
saw other movies on this list, though, Brett.
So it was a big week, though, for two specific studios, Neon and IFC Films, who's been doing the damn thing for decades. Immaculate was Neon's biggest release ever, and Neon they did the release of Parasite, they did Triangle of Sadness, but Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney was their biggest release ever. Congratulations to Neon. They were, of course, co-founded by the guy that founded Alamo Drafthouse, and they've been making some great movies. And then congrats to IFC Films. They've been doing the damn thing for a long time. Late Night with the Devil, which I know Joe's going to talk about, and we'll find out if it was good or not when Joe talks about it. But congrats, because the David, how do you say his last name?
Dastmalchian. Or something like that.
The Late Night with the Devil with David Dastmalchian, this sort of fun retro horror, fun-looking retro horror, was IFC Films' biggest release ever. This was their biggest...
Really?
Yes, this was their biggest release ever.
Good for horror.
And it's already in the top 20 all-time for them.
You're kidding.
Yes, no. Late Night with the Devil was IFC Films' biggest release. So congratulations to those two studios and those movies. Congratulations to those two studios. But they're indie studios.
Neon and IFC Films,
yes.
You get a congratulations.
You get a congratulations.
Yeah, we love that. Cinema was dead like 6 months ago.
So speaking of that, we're going to give you 3 quick movie reviews. Bang, bang, bang. Joe's going to talk about Immaculate and Late Night with the Devil. I'm going to talk about Roadhouse, which is the biggest streaming release of the week. Joe, why don't you kick us off with your review of Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney?
Sure. Directed by Michael Mohan, Immaculate stars Sydney Sweeney as a nun who goes to a special convent in Rome for older nuns at the end of their life, and she takes care of them, and it's very strict and old-fashioned. And what happens is, yada, 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 she finds out that she is pregnant, a la Immaculate Conception, and then that unravels a larger conspiracy that this nunnery or whatever is perpetrating. So the skinny on this movie is that Sydney Sweeney auditioned for it years and years and years ago, and then once after Euphoria, she got Sway. She brought the screenplay back, and she she produced it to help it come alive, and it was a passion project of hers, and she got it off the ground, and it was Neon's biggest thing ever. And my takeaway from the film, I liked Immaculate very much. It had some nice scares. It had a glorious 80-minute runtime. Thank you, Immaculate.
God bless.
Amazing, man. The credits roll at 80 minutes. God bless you, Immaculate. And I'm really proud of you, Sydney Sweeney, because you're really, really famous right now, and you really, really stuck to your guns and brought something that you cared about to the big screen, and you took a big swing. She plays a version of the Virgin Mary in this, which will definitely invite criticism no matter what year you put this out.
It's a risk.
It's a huge risk. And horror, though now it has all this wonderful cachet, I think for a long time her agents and team might have thought that, horror, this might be some sort of step back for you. But of course it isn't. It's the most popular genre in the world at the movie theaters right now, or at least it seems that way.
And it gets you the most hardcore fans.
Absolutely. So I'm really, really excited that Sydney Sweeney has like her head on her shoulders creatively, seemingly. And I'm though she was fine in the movie, she gives a great scene at the end. She really goes for it. I love it. I'm not old enough to like be proud of you because we're
You can
too
stop
similar.
there. You can stop there.
But like, I'm proud of you. I love it. I love the choice, Sydney Sweeney. I think it's cool. I think you're cool. It's very, very good.
Look, way to go. I'm high on Sydney Sweeney right now too because I just watched Reality, her movie.
You did?
Yeah, where she plays Reality Winner.
How was it?
The sort of whistleblower who leaked the Russian interference story to the media and then got a 5-year jail sentence. Insane. It is great. It is great.
Cool.
She's amazing in it, and what I didn't realize was that it's shot in real time, and all the dialogue is taken from the actual transcripts of when they went and when the FBI raided her house. It is really good. It is a really tight little slow burn of a movie. Sydney Sweeney, you're making incredible choices with movies you're doing right now. Anyone but you not included.
No, but can I push back? Maybe that movie wasn't great, Brett, but I love, and I'm sure Pal does too because he needs the work, but I love that him and Sydney Sweeney are teaming up. They're looking at more rom-coms. They're going to be our Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks.
I don't hate it. I'll go to the next one.
I love it.
I'm just saying anyone but you was a bit of a dud, but I don't hate. I'll watch the next one. Okay. Love Sydney Sweeney. Keep making these great choices because it makes the movies better.
Yeah,
when our big stars when the big stars choose cool projects, it makes the movies better. We love it.
We do.
Now, speaking of things I did not love, let's talk about Roadhouse. Doug Liman, who directed Swingers and Go back in the 90s, directed The Incredible Edge of Tomorrow, one of the best action movies of the last 20 years, directed the first Bourne movie. He remade Patrick Swayze's Roadhouse, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and others. I watched this as soon as it came out, and I've been sort of following the discourse ever since. Everyone more or less agrees that Roadhouse is bad, but there has been a lot of discussion about what kind of bad it is, and a lot of people are kind of falling on the side of it's so bad it's good, and I think from what I've seen, some people are even calling it camp. I am here today to beg people to not misuse the word camp, okay? We need to talk about camp because we are in danger of losing the meaning of the word, and it's one of our most important words, okay? It's a very important word with a very specific, I won't say very specific, but with a meaning. It has meaning, and it needs to retain that meaning. The new Roadhouse is not camp. It's just a bad movie. Also, that Nicole Kidman AMC promo is not camp. It's just a run-of-the-mill, magic of the movies commercial. And I get it, though, okay? Because camp is fun. Camp makes us feel good. We love camp. But just because we love it and we want it, it doesn't mean everything is it. So when the next Nicole Kidman AMC commercial rolls around, whatever the next thing of that is going to be, I need you to ask yourself, is this actually camp? Or am I just kind of sad and I need camp in my life? And it's fine to be sad. I'm sad a lot of the time. A lot of people are sad a lot of the time now. There's a lot of things to be sad about. And camp makes us feel better. And camp is so exciting and exhilarating and weird. And so I get it. We want camp, but we have to be careful with what we call camp. Because if we call everything camp, then nothing's camp. And we don't get any camp in our lives anymore. It's precisely because we love camp that we need to maintain the definition of it. So why is Doug Liman's Roadhouse definitely not camp? Well, first of all, it's Doug Liman's Roadhouse. It was never going to be camp. But I want to start with one isolated element of the movie that arguably is campy. The closest the movie gets to camp, and that's Conor McGregor's performance. You will not see a weirder thing on movie screens in 2024 than Conor McGregor's performance in Roadhouse. The former UFC fighter, Conor McGregor, who by all accounts seems to be a pretty bad and violent person, surprise, surprise, gives a confounding performance in Roadhouse. And it is a performance. He is performing. He is doing acting. He is acting hard. He walks around like an absolute maniac. His line readings are exaggerated. They're cartoonish. It seems half the time like he's doing VO for a cartoon is kind of the only way I can describe it. A lot of the dialogue had to be ADR'd, which makes you kind of wonder what was going on during the actual filming of the movie. A bunch of the lines you're like, what was that? Could not possibly have been what was in the script. And so you're like, why did they use, like, that doesn't make any sense. Was it just like take 50 and Doug's tired and needs to go home, and so they were just like, just use that one? Margo, can you play that one clip to give the people an example of what I'm talking about? This is Conor McGregor in Roadhouse.
Just what I taught. This Roadhouse is mine.
So that's a scene where Conor McGregor has just walked into the Roadhouse, and he's supposed to like tear it up and fight people and just get real rowdy. And he walks in and he looks around and he goes, "Just what I taught. This Roadhouse is mine." A line that it's the kind of line where it seems like it makes sense. It's words in a sentence, but the more you think about it, "just what I thought, this Roadhouse is mine," is such a weird, meaningless kind of sentence that it is so close to meaning something, but also so far away. And the delivery of it is so bizarre that Conor McGregor kind of is getting close to camp, because it's the kind of camp where the intention and the and the result are so far away. What he's trying to do versus where it lands are so far away. And in the difference between those two things is where the camp comes out of it. It's a performance that's reminiscent of those great performances from like trashy action movies in the 80s, where they would get like wrestlers and bodybuilders and boxers to play the bad guys. And they kind of weren't, used to being on camera in movies, and so everything was sort of exaggerated and sort of vulnerable and kind of weird and like didn't always match everybody else's energy. It's that kind of a performance, and honestly, I kind of have been waiting for a performance like that for a long time, because you don't get them anymore, because everybody now has grown up on those trashy action movies from the 80s, and so they have a sort of like ironic understanding of that kind of performance, and you can't give that kind of performance if you're ironically winking at the camera. Conor McGregor is not ironically winking at the camera in this movie. In fact, I don't think he knows where the camera is half the time. He walks around with his shoulders out, and he has this weird smile on his face, but he has like dead eyes. It's a truly bizarre performance.
Does he order his whiskey? The Irish, 12 Irish?
He doesn't, but
okay.
See, I think he was in this movie to continue the brand, right?
Okay.
He thinks like, because the irony is that when he was in UFC, he was known for being sort of this charismatic wordsmith that was very good on camera. He was one of the main personalities of UFC, and that's why he became so big. In addition to winning some big fights, was that he was so good at trash talking and all of the show around mixed martial arts.
Like Mean Cena.
And then he does the Irish whiskey, and so he has this whole brand. He's this sort of rowdy Irish brawler, and he comes into this movie trying to do the Conor McGregor brand, and then was presumably going to use this movie as kind of keeping the brand going. But something happens when they turn that camera on, maybe, and Conor McGregor just kind of is just sort of like frozen in this weird cartoonish version of himself the entire movie. And I don't think he knows what he looks like or sounds like. It's like everything is sort of, I don't think he knows how he's coming off. And it ends up being this truly bizarre performance that is sort of close to campy, but the rest of the movie is nothing like his performance. The rest of the movie is just sort of boring and careless. The comedy is flat. There's these long passages of exposition that are unnecessary. Gyllenhaal is trying, but his character makes no sense.
Bummer.
And overall, like, Billy Magnuson is in it. If you don't know who that is, look him up. You'll know the face. Yep. He's a character who's been giving these sort of manic gonzo performances that have become, I think, really popular and beloved. And he's trying in this movie, but he's like weirdly kind of muted. It's like, why aren't they letting Billy Magnuson go full bore? I don't fully get it. The violence in the movie is bizarre. Jake Gyllenhaal gets stabbed fatally twice, and then they just sort of forget that it happens, and then he just like comes back. Like it's the Roadhouse is like not right. It's like not the design of it is not right. It's like a tourist bar in the Keys, but they're doing the Roadhouse thing where people are fighting there all the time. It'd be like if you walk into Margaritaville at City Walk and there was like an 8-person brawl going on.
I wouldn't be shocked, but yeah, at that specific location.
Fair enough, but you would be shocked if you then like said to the bartender, "Oh my God, what's happening?" And the bartender's like, "This happens every night."
Yes.
You'd be like, "It does in Margaritaville?" It's a bad, careless movie that didn't really care about itself a lot. The one bright spot is Conor McGregor's bizarre performance, but ultimately that's just sort of this isolated island of near camp, and overall the movie is not so bad it's good. It's just bad. It is not camp. Everybody, let's wake up and let's wake up and smell the roses on camp and not use the word unless it actually is camp, because God, it is truly one of our most important words, and then we need to preserve its definition. Also, no throat ripping.
What?
No throat ripping.
Zilch.
If you remember the original Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze famously can rip people's throats out and does it at the climax of the movie. It's amazing. No throat ripping in Roadhouse, in the Roadhouse remake.
MacGruber took throat ripping and kept it. My next review is for this week's IFC's biggest movie of all time, Late Night with the Devil. This movie had a lot of buzz on horror Twitter. Horror fans were excited for it. Horror fans like Das Malchian, and he's good in the film. But, you know, this is a movie that is low budget, no problem. It's low budget horror. Okay, great. Peanut butter and jelly, not an issue. And the idea is it's sort of a found footage documentary about a late night talk show that goes awry when the devil is summoned, and the
Sounds amazing.
And the devil starts like taking over the show. And it does sound amazing. And it has an absolutely incredible poster. That's why I paid the money to go see the movie. But after the film, I thought about asking for my money back, Brett, because this piece of content doesn't have a cinematic bone in its body. It's boring.
Piece of content.
It's slow. It would have looked better on my iPad. I was watching it on the big screen, literally thinking, I think this would look better on my phone. People are enjoying the verisimilitude of the set. It's like, what the fuck? It's a fucking 70s set.
Did you have something bad for dinner or something?
I was in the mood for the movie. I almost walked out a couple times.
Wow.
I was so bored. The whole audience, like, desperately, every stop and start this movie. Stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. We're going to commercial break. That was really weird, right? Oh, I don't know. The show must go on. It's sweeps week.
What was the vibe in the theater? Because it must have been packed with the money it made.
It was packed. It was sold out. The energy was really high going in. Then the movie it took the weirdest turn energy-wise in the theater. And the two older people that were probably on like a first date or something next to me, they kept like laughing because I think they wanted to enjoy this movie together.
First date energy.
Like they both decided this would be kind of their thing, so they wanted to like it together. I could hear in their laughter though that they did not like it. And I did not like it either. In fact, I really didn't like it. I thought it was offensive. Like, oh, but Joe, it's low budget. So was the Blair Witch Project. And Joe, it's only in one room. First of all, no, it's not. Second of all, fucking Petra Von Kant's in one room.
Thank you.
Fuck this movie.
Wow. And those are our reviews of this week's releases. Joe, before we get to our outro and our plugs, I know you have a special happy birthday message that you wanted to deliver.
I do. Happy birthday, happy 61st birthday this week to the great Quentin Tarantino. Folks, we love Tarantino's movies, or maybe you don't, but I don't want to focus on Quentin's movies right now. I want to thank Quentin Tarantino for his movie theaters. I am very fortunate to live in Los Angeles these days. I thought I lived in a glorious period of movie theaters, and I did in New York City. IFC Films and Film Forum and all of that stuff. And I loved living in New York with an amazing movie theater culture. But right now in Los Angeles is the happiest I have ever been as a movie-going person. And the number one reason for that is Quentin Tarantino. I absolutely love the stunning renovation of the Egyptian. I got to see Winchester 73 and Nitrate. We love that.
Wow.
But really, it is the New Beverly and the Vista that are really bringing home the movies in Los Angeles, the cradle of cinema civilization. New Bev. I approach the New Bev tickets going on sale like people might approach, the Taylor Swift concert. I am refreshing on the thing, waiting for those tickets to drop, because these film freaks in this town, Brett, they gobble it up.
They gobble
it up. You think to yourself, oh, I can get tickets to Buck and the Preacher on a Tuesday at 7. No, you can't.
This guy hangs the New Beverly calendar on the refrigerator in our office kitchen.
I do, because I want folks to know they are screening on film, always projected on film, because QT is a real one, and so is the amazing staff at the theaters. Here's the tickets I bought for this month. I already have them in my thing. I have a Karloff triple feature at the New Bev set for a Monday night. I got tickets to a 4-film secret marathon where all month at the New Bev, they're celebrating Columbia Pictures' 100th year. So it's 4 Sony pictures that they're not releasing until they start rolling, or not releasing the names of until they start rolling. I'm thrilled. And most excitedly, and what I really want to thank Mr. Tarantino, that'd be cool. I would love that. to respect somebody so much to call them Mr.
Wrap it
Tarantino.
up.
You know, wrap it up.
We got to go on to the next show.
Oh. They opened a micro cinema in the Vista where they show
I didn't mean
VHS.
to immediately wrap it up. Just sort of start to wrap
They
it up.
opened a micro cinema in the Vista where they show 16 millimeter and VHS, and I just got my tickets for like the old Dick Tracy films. It's just 30 seats. It's gorgeous in the Vista. It's gorgeous. Go to these theaters. Quentin Tarantino, keep buying and restoring theaters. I will talk about these theaters again on the program.
We'll keep talking about both of them.
I'll never stop talking about them.
Tarantino, thank you so much for giving us the Vista, giving us the new Beverly. We love it. We love movies. What's going to happen now is that if you're a member of the Patreon, patreon.com/moviesbaby with 5 Ys, just stay on the stream and we'll be doing Weekend at Bergman's in just about 5 to 10 minutes. Tonight, our 1999 series rolls on with Beau Travail versus Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. Wonder who's going to win that one. And we also just released our full calendar.
Wow.
Our full calendar for the 1999 series.
It's so stacked.
If you go, I'm not going to go over them all right now, but if you go and follow us at Weekend Bergman on Instagram, at Weekend Bergman on Twitter, on all the social media platforms, you can see our full calendar, which is running through the end of May, when we're going to do a big wrap-up Best of 1999 episode where we'll rank all the movies and ultimately pick the best movie of 1999.
Wow.
But tonight it is Beau Travail versus Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. I also want to send a special shout-out to our executive producers. That's our $25 tier on Patreon. I cannot believe the support we've gotten on Patreon. It means so much to us. It has. I mean, look, we were gonna do this show come hell or high water, even if one person was watching or supporting us on Patreon. But getting support on Patreon out of the gate has meant so much to us and gives us such hope for the future of this show and all the things we can do with it. So I want to send a special shout out to Josh, Jessica, Josh, and Mary Ellen, our executive producers. Thank you so much. We've got some special gifts coming out to you very soon. And I think we're also going to figure out like a nice little end credit sequence that'll mention our executive producers as well. So all that is coming. We are doing as much as we can week to week here, flying by the seat of our pants, trying to bring you the best in movie entertainment.
Yep.
And then coming up after the break, we will be back with Weekend at Bergman's talking about Claire Denis' masterpiece, Beau Travail versus Rob Schneider's Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo.
It's going to be fun.
Don't go anywhere if you're on the Patreon. Hang tight. And if you're not on the Patreon, why don't you go sign up for it so you can join us for a fun episode of Weekend at Bergman's.
Please sign up.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.